Well, hello, Casey.
Hello. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Hello, Cameron.
How are you?
Okay, we'll stop that for just a second. All right, looks like it's working. Okay, good enough. So, hello, Jim, Rick, Casey, Cameron. All the good early birds are here.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mariah.
I'm in Tooele.
You're in Tooele today?
Good.
I'm Dennis, Alpha Delta 7 Tango Victor. Just moved in.
Okay.
Where are you moving
Okay,
from?
I've got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mariah.
Oh, sorry. Quick question. The Thursday night, like calls, are they still at 7 or did that time change?
Okay, so we have our board meeting at 6 and then this meeting at 7.
Yeah, the check-ins that you do on Thursdays, is
Yes.
that still at 7? Okay,
I think it's
Is it-
now at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay, that's what I wondered. I've been trying to check in and I've logged in, but then I haven't heard anyone. So I was like, I don't know if I'm doing the right time. So 8 o'clock.
Yes, and
Okay.
we're going to have Roger report on that a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Yep. No worries. So I just wanted to double check while I had you. So thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, Rulon, you hear me?
Yes, Rex, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I had to make sure.
Oh, I see Dan Shields is here. Oh, Robin, welcome.
Hi, glad to be here.
Everybody enjoying this weather?
Well, I kind of like Sunday's weather better than yesterday's.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Changes quickly.
Okay, by my station clock, which is pretty accurate, it says it's time for the meeting to start. So, good evening, everybody. We're glad to have you here. I'm Roland Smith. I'm the president of the club, and we're just delighted to have all of you here who've been able to get on. And I'm expecting that we'll have more. And my wife just joined us, which is also a delightful thing. So talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. This is our agenda. We'll next have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll get a treasurer's report. And then as long as Mert's got the floor, we'll have her talk about swag. Tyler's going to talk to us very briefly about Elmer Night and also the South Mountain SOTA activation process. Then I'm going to talk with you about the Great Utah Shakeout and what things we want you as club members to be doing associated with that particular event. Most of you are familiar with the idea of push to talk. So my recommendation is to go on mute until it's a reason for you to talk, and then unmute if you wouldn't mind. That way we don't get any dogs or other extraneous noise going on. We're going to talk a little bit about a PSK 31 net. We want to also a little bit about philanthropy, and then any other business that any of you have to bring up. So that's our agenda, for today. Does anybody have anything that they want to bring up or add to or take away from the agenda this evening? Okay, so then we will then proceed on that basis. Okay, speak up.
I want to be a gen ed teacher. I'd probably want to be a fourth grade teacher, specifically fourth grade. Third and fourth were my favorites when I was 7. We're gonna have to follow rules, but then young enough to not be psycho. Formal and stinky and awful. You good? Sure.
Okay, whatever is happening, I'm sorry, but I'm not understanding it. Okay.
Inhaling your food is just the same. Mom, don't actually do it. It's a bad idea.
Okay, well, what I'd like to do is proceed with our agenda. Okay. Do I need to get some folks unmute that aren't muted? Let's see what I can do here. Okay, well, it looks like everybody's muted that should be muted. Okay. I'm going to close my door because my wife's on the phone. All right. I'm wondering if I could get Jim, AG7A, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure, can you hear me okay?
I hear you. Thank you very much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Two.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. And my sharing stopped, of course. There we go. Next, let me go back. The next on the agenda is a treasurer's report. Normally we'd have Rona give us a minutes for the last meeting, but she hasn't gotten them finished yet. So as soon as she's gotten them done, we'll be posting them. But anyway, we'll take a treasurer's report. Mert, you're on.
Okay. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, sweet. All right, so we changed banks. So we're with Mountain America Credit Union now, which is awesome. So we had some money from some donations that was in an envelope, which we put into a savings account. And our savings account, that total right now is $244.62. And then our checking account right now is 806.03, so $806.03. I did a deposit today of $152. 61 of those dollars were from memberships, and $91 was from testing. So anytime you take a test, we collect the money. So 91 bucks it was from the testing. So that's awesome. Other than that, we are going to do some ordering of some swag. Does anybody have any questions about that before we move on? What's any questions? Should we?
So first, I'd like to
that?
take a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I saw motion.
And who was the motioner?
Rob Andrews.
Oh, hello, Rob. Welcome back, and congratulations on your new job.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it. KZC.
Okay, thank you, Casey. And first off, all in favor, say aye. And anybody
Aye.
Okay, and anybody opposed, unmute and tell me you're opposed. Silence is wonderful. Okay, Mert, we'll accept the treasurer's report.
Perfect. Now to carry on with some swag. So the swag is thanks to Rick. So Rick, thanks a ton for your help. We have found a new hat that's that Roland's going to put on the screen here for us. And we're trying to debate what color. So we'll figure that color out, but that's what the hat's going to look like. And the colors that we're thinking about is the stone, the khaki, or that blue color there. Or we could do a royal blue or whatever you think. If you have an opinion, shoot it to me. If not, then I'll let Rick decide what color is the best. He's taken the reins on this new hat that I love. It's a great low profile hat. So it'll be like this low profile hat that I've got on, and that is Rick on here that Rick's got on. So see how our hats are low profile. That's kind of what it's going to be, rather than the I like the other hats too. The trucker hat is what I call it. The trucker hat. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, we still have some of those other hats available as well. So if you're wanting a hat like that, then it's then let me know and I'll shoot you a picture of it. I don't have one with me right now. That's horrible that I'm talking about it. Anyway, so hats, that's what we're gonna do is hats. That with they're gonna be embroidered instead of silk screen. So that's a little bit more money. With the price of the hat and the embroidery, they're gonna be about 25 bucks a pop. So they're gonna be $25 per hat. The other thing, and you can see on the back, it's help me out. You can adjust it. It's adjustable, so you can make it whatever size you want it. The other thing that we're going to order is shirts. If you look at Roland and his awesome shirt that he's got on right now, that is the shirt that we're going to be ordering. It's that light blue with our West Desert Amateur Radio Club logo on the left chest, and then on the right it'll have your call sign and your name. So we are going to embroider that as well. Those shirts are going to be $50. So if you want a shirt, I just need to know what size and if you're interested, and then we'll go from there. So hats or shirts, let me know. Rick, if you'll take on the color, or if anybody has an opinion about a color, let me know. And then I'll pass it on to Rick. But other than that, I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and I can't think of anything else. So thank you for your time, and back to you, Roland.
We'll get unmuted and then I'll say okay. And I personally like the blue, but the khaki hat is also a pretty nice looking hat. And but I think the blue goes quite nicely with the shirt. Now I have the shirt, but I need the hat. Okay, so you got an order.
It's Blake. Is this the hat she's talking about? The older ones?
Yes, that's it. That's it.
In case everybody wondered what they look like.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you full screen, Blake.
And we have some of those other hats available still. I think we have about 7 or 8 of them left. So if you want one like that,
yeah,
let me know and we can get that to you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's about $15, I think, right? Yeah.
That's what they look like. So,
okay.
Anyway, okay, go ahead.
All right. So let's see. So the next piece of thing that we want to talk about is the Great Utah Shakeout, and so let me get the screen sharing going. Has anybody here participated in any of the past year's shakeouts? Because of the Magna earthquake last year, and some of the other earthquakes that have been happening around the area, Tooele County is very interested in doing a much better job of familiarizing people with earthquake preparedness. And Robin has come along this evening to kind of be available to talk a little bit about what all the Tooele County Emergency Management is doing in this greater Utah Shakeout thing. Now, the Shakeout itself is on April the 15th at about 10:17 a.m. or any time during that day. So, Robin, you want to add anything?
So basically I guess I can turn my video on too. Basically what Tooele County Emergency Management is doing is having a communications and assessment exercise. So we've been training some people on the Orion Disaster Assessment Program, which is a very great asset for Tooele County. And the more people that we can get that is familiar with that program, the better off we are, especially like our public works and our schools and different entities that have larger areas that they need to assess, but we also need people to know how to assess in the neighborhood. So we've done a few of those too. So the biggest thing is we're wanting reports from people all over the county, and we're doing it kind of in 3 or 4 ways. One way is through the Orion assessment app, and another way is through amateur radio, and then another way is through the Tooele Ready app that we now have the ability to send notifications, and then you also have the ability to text straight to EOC. So like you can take a picture of, say there's a big tree that has fallen in the road by your house. You take a picture and it goes straight to the EOC along with your address and your location that you put in the text, and then we can start mapping where the needs will be. And then there's also another text number that people can, if they don't want to get the app, they can still text. Because we're trying to help people understand that texting is the better way, especially when a phone system is overwhelmed. Most of the time, a phone call won't get through, but texts usually do. It's on a different little wave. And so we're trying to help people understand texting is the better way. So we're giving people the opportunity to send their reports on Shakeout anytime after 10:15 of drop, cover, and hold on. And then just help us by sending a report. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. We just want to test our systems, and we kind of want to see if we can break it so that we can put it to the test and know where our gaps are and be able to improve the whole process and the whole system. So anyway, those are the different ways that we have. And we're hoping that you amateur radio people will help us by being on the frequencies and sending fictitious reports, just so that we can get some reports in that day.
Thanks, Robin. So here's what we want you to do, and you'll be getting, more detailed instructions as the week goes along. But the plan is for you to pretend that there's been an earthquake of about a magnitude of 5 or so, which means that damage has been done. Then we want you to communicate your circumstance shortly after 10:17. And we've got a couple of ways for you to be able to do that. If you have the Orion Damage Assessment app, or you want to get trained on the Orion Damage Assessment app, we want you to use that. We will schedule one more Orion Damage Assessment training app for members of the club that will be making available towards the beginning of next week. If at and around the area of about 10:15 to 10:30, if you're in the area and a radio range of the Tooele County repeater system, then we want you to check in, because Roger will be commencing at 10:30 with calling for check-ins and for status reports. He'll do that 3 times. He'll take status check-ins at 10:30. He'll take them again at 10:50, and then he'll take him again about 11:15 or 11:10, somewhere around in there. So if you're in radio range and able to communicate by way of radio, then we want you to do that. And we want you to provide your status. Are you well? Are you not well? What's the circumstances around you? And go ahead and be creative. We'd like as much fun out of this as we can make. Now, if you're not at home or not in radio range, then we want you to send a text message. And now the text message we want you to send it to the West Desert Amateur Radio Club's email account. Now, excuse me, I don't know if most of you know this, but you can text directly to an email address. When you're creating the text message, if you put in the email address instead of a phone number, the text will be directed to that email address. And the club's email address is wdarc.w7eo@gmail.com. So it's the club name, WDARC, decimal point, W7EO, that's the club call sign, @gmail.com. And we'll be sending this out to you in an email as well. And we'd also like for you, if you can, to take some pictures and then send them in by way of the same email address. Send us an email and attach some pictures and attach them to it. If you have the Tooele Ready app, the Tooele Responds app, is it Tooele Responds or Tooele Ready? Robin, I have to look
It's
it up.
Tooele Ready.
Tooele Ready.
Yeah, so you can go to Google Play or the App Store and just search Tooele Ready and it'll come right up.
And if you have it on your app, on your smartphone, you need to update it because it's just recently been updated.
Right.
With the ability to be able to send text messages with pictures, kind of an affair. And now we're kind of jealous in the circumstance that we would like for you to send your information to us and then have us pass along to the EOC, just to give them an indication of what we're capable of doing. So even though you might have the Tooele Ready app, and you can do whatever, you can send stuff in that way too, but we'd really like for you to send the information in, through either by way of the radio, text messaging, or email to the text messaging and email to the club's email account. If you have the Orion Damage Assessment app and have an idea of how to use it, we want you to do that as well. At the Emergency Operations Center, we'll have the dashboard up, and as you do pushes into the system, it'll just automatically pop up on that map. And I think that's something we're looking to showcase. I think is the ability for us to provide good on the ground first assessment information that could then be actioned by the Tooele County Emergency Management folks. Okay, so here's a couple of more key points.
Got a question really quick, Roland.
Yeah.
You might know, or Robin might know, if you use the Orion app, will there be a primary instance that we use, or do we create our own?
Nope, we will have it'll be called Great Utah Shakeout 2021.
Okay. So I just pulled it up and didn't see anything there yet.
I haven't made it yet. We haven't made it because we want to do it. We didn't want to confuse people as we were training.
Right.
We were talking about doing it. So it will show up that day and use that incident.
Okay.
That would be the normal circumstance, Casey, that before an incident, we don't know that an incident is going to happen, so we won't have the opportunity to create it until the incident happens. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. As I said, Roger will periodically, call for check-ins until about 11:30. We'll take text messages and emails until about 11:30. And we're interested in as many text messages, emails, check-ins, or whatever as you're willing to give us. So if Roger calls 3 times for check-ins, go ahead, check in 3 times. If you want to send
or you can even go around to your neighborhood and take pictures around your neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we get different addresses. So, so a lot is helpful. is what we're saying.
Yeah, the
So-
more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Yes.
So be creative, be generous. And
So-
like I said, we'll shut off the data collection at around 11:30. So that we can make sure all of our information is put together and made available to the Tooele County Emergency Management for their hot wash that they'll be conducting. All right. So
I have one question. If we're going out and traveling about town, do we put in, like we take pictures of it, do we include the address, or will it be able to automatically pick up the address?
okay, if you're using the Orion application, you will it'll use your GPS to give you suggested addresses, and then you can pick the address that actually fits. If you are just doing a text message and attaching pictures to it, then we'd like for you to include in the either in the text or in the email the approximate address.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if anybody's on Facebook, go to our Tooele County Emergency Management page, and there's a little video that kind of tells about the app and kind of what to put in your text so that we can get the information. It's pretty basic, but it's just a little 3-minute video about using the app for the Great Utah Shakeout. So
Got another question really quick. Are the ID badges available yet in case someone asks us what the heck we're doing?
you know what's funny? I have yours right here in Idaho because I had it in my stuff and I didn't end up leaving it, but I will try to get it sent and hopefully it'll get there by next week. So I'll send it tomorrow and get it to you. Text or send me an email with your address and I'll get it sent straight to you. So it doesn't have to just go to Roland and then he get it to you. So
Hey, what's your email address,
it's
Robin?
R.
Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Get my mail client up. R.
FREDERICKSON. So R. Fredrickson at tcem.org.
Okay. I'm sending that right now.
Okay. For the rest of the badges, we were still trying to get it to work right, but so when I come maybe in May, we'll try to do that. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? Remember to unmute.
Roland?
Yes, go ahead, Blake.
Well, just on taking pictures, I can get a lot of real good pictures out here because there's a lot of dumpy places that look like they've been hit. Wow. Anyway, just a little humor there, but I know seriousness. But yeah, I'll see what I can do for it out this way. So anyway,
Yeah, well, but we'd be delighted to get some of those pictures from Wendover. Okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to add, comment, or question? All right, so there'll be more information coming on the Facebook page as well as in your email. Okay. One of the other things that we've been working on with several people is getting set up to be able to do digital communications. And so starting April 15th, that's the shakeout day, but in the evening, it's starting at 9 p.m., we're going to start holding a weekly PSK 31 net. It'll be at 9 p.m. and it's going to be on the repeater system. So those of you who have digital capability and are interested in participating in this net, please send me your just an email or something or text message saying that you're interested so that we can help make that thing happen. there will be a Zoom video conference that will be up at the same time, so that we can provide any support or assistance or anything else that's going on. And we'll be doing this net starting April 15th, and we'll be doing it weekly, for the next period of time. Anybody have any questions or comments or concerns? Okay, silence is golden, I guess. Okay, there's a couple of other things we wanted to talk about before we got to this point, or before we continue on with this. So, Tyler, your turn.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was distracted. What am I? Is this the soda outing?
The soda and anything else you want to talk about.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to multitask here, and I don't do multitasking very well, I guess. All right, so the soda outing is a go. I am going to there are two possible things that might shut it down. First is failure to get permission to access the mountain. Of course, that brings us to a hard dead stop. But we might just find another mountain if that happens. The other is weather. I haven't taken a look at the long-term forecast, so I don't know what's coming up weather-wise on the 17th. But barring tropical showers or blizzards, the soda trip is on. So what we'll do is we'll meet at the South Rim Park. There's a park in the middle of town there. We'll meet and then set out from there, either in common cars or individual cars, whatever the case may be. Reason being, if we're not taking a vehicle up the road, there's not a lot of parking outside the gate. Does that make sense? So it would be best if we meet at the park and carpool in one or two vehicles. So we'll meet at the park in South Rim. It'll be bright and early, exact time to be determined. And we'll head up the mountain and I just drew a blank, Roland, on our soda guide's name.
Bruce Olney?
Bruce. I'm sorry. Brain cramp. I'm getting that old CRS syndrome going on. Anyway, Bruce Olney, great guy, awesome guy. He's gonna guide us up there. And so we'll probably talk about it a little bit at the park before we head out, and then we'll get into one or two vehicles and head out to the actual gate to walk up the hill. So it is permanent enough that you can use a pen to put it on your calendar now. You don't have to use pencil anymore. Like I said, the only thing that would bring it to a screeching halt is a blizzard or a monsoon, or if we have to plan on another mountain, we might need to rethink our whole plan. But that's it. That's all I have on soda. Roland?
Okay, so I got a couple of questions you can help answer with so that everyone else, because not everybody's going to climb that mountain.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So
I keep focusing on the mountain climbers, but you're absolutely right, Roland. We need a lot of help from people sitting in their house. Once we get up there, we'll probably start out on 2 meters. We have to do simplex. We can't use repeaters to get points for the activation. So people sitting on, we'll probably put out a frequency so we don't occupy the calling frequency too much. But we probably will make a couple of calls at least on the 14652 frequency, and then maybe move to a QSY to a different one. But then we'll also move up to HF. We're going to do some HF calling as well. So we'll need people sitting home to listen for us calling and answer us. So that's a part that everyone can play. And I'm sorry, I kind of forget about the hunters. So the people at home are called the hunters. The people on the mountain are called the activators. So us activators don't get to activate much if there's nobody hunting us.
Well, there's a lot of us that tend to be chasing you guys that are up on the mountain. And so there's going to be some more publicity about this as we get closer on the website and on the Facebook page. It's that Saturday morning, April 17th. We'll want to be, via radios to be able to answer the call. And those of us who have HF capability, to also be in a position to be able to answer the call. They need each of the people who are activating. It's not a group activation. It's each person activating them that's up there themselves, right? And so everybody up there is going to need to be able to make it. I think it's at least 4 contacts.
Correct.
For it to count. Kind of repair.
I'm out here in Wendover, at least on 2 meters. I'll be listening. So just to let you know from the home base here. Then.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure we get you the frequency so that you can listen.
Okay.
Yeah. And they'll also be spotted on the Soda Watch page, as well. So we can look for them. We can look for them over there. So just because you're not climbing the mountain that morning or driving up the mountain or whatever on April 17th, doesn't mean that we don't need you. All of you, as many as possible, be by your radio. Be ready and able to switch to a simplex VHF frequency and to be able to make contact on that simplex frequency. If you're using go ahead, Rona.
So for us to be able to communicate, we have to be in simplex as well as them?
Yes.
Okay.
You need to be able to talk back to them on the same frequency simplex that they're talking to you.
We're not allowed to use any terrestrial repeater system. So if one of us was set up to do satellite, we could use the satellite as a repeater, but we can't use any terrestrial repeater.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to be set up to do satellite, are you? Not yet, at least not on this activation.
Right, yeah, maybe later.
Okay. All right, so so this is another fun activity to now write it in pen on your calendar. Do you have any timing in particular timing in mind, Tyler?
Well, we want to start early in the morning. Probably not too early. It'll still be a little bit chilly on an April morning, but we'll start early in the morning and probably want to finish up. I don't know. I really need to get with Bruce and hammer out these details, but probably early afternoon, 2 or 3 at the latest.
Okay, sounds good. So put it on your calendar. We're going to do that. We're going to do this thing.
And Roland, while I have the spotlight here, Mert wanted me to point something out to you. Our club email address ends with a 0, not an Oscar. I don't know how that happened because I know the call sign for the club is Whiskey 7 Echo Oscar, but the email address got set up with a 0 instead of an Oscar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I just signed into the email account to confirm it, and yeah, it's WDARC dot W7E0 at Gmail.
Okay, all right. I'll make a note of that as well. Okay.
I got a question really quick about the activation.
Sure.
What if you're interested in going but not able to physically walk up the mountain?
Well, the rules of SOTA, I don't know. I'd have to look at the rules and see if they make any allowances for otherly abled. Is that for people like yourself, Casey, that have mobility issues? I'll have to see if there's any exceptions for that. But I know the basic rules state you can't do it from a vehicle, but I'm absolutely positive they've got to make some allowances, for folks that can't walk. So
because I was wondering if there was like an option to ride up the mountain or something.
Right. Well, I'll take that as a do out, Casey. I'll do some research on that, and maybe Bruce knows the answer. I don't know if Bruce is on the call tonight, but if not, we'll do some research and we'll get back to you with an answer to that. Because that's absolutely a great question. Because I know plenty of folks that are otherwise very active, but like I have a brother-in-law who's paraplegic, but he's more active in the outdoors than I am. He just has to ride a four-wheeler wherever he goes. So, so yeah, I will absolutely find that out for you, Casey, and I'll get right back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, and continuing in a similar line, this is a Summits on the Air activation. There are two other types of activations that are possible to do. One's called Islands on the Air, and there are several nearby islands that are activatable. And the other one is called Parks on the Air, and there are several of those parks in Utah, in Tooele County, that qualify as well. And so over the next few months, we're going to be setting up expeditions for Islands on the Air as well as Parks on the Air, so that folks, different people will have different interests. But if the Summit on the Air doesn't work for you, Casey, I can guarantee you that either Islands or Parks on the Air would work. So there will be other opportunities.
And that's absolutely true. Most of the Parks on the Air people that I see, well, I won't say most, but many of the Parks on the Air people that I see posting pictures or videos of their activations, they're sitting in the driver's seat of their car. So yeah, it's absolutely different. As long as you can get your antenna up, that's all you got to do for Parks on the Air. So yeah, good point, Roland. Okay.
Just a reminder while we're just here in this arena, our annual or monthly Elmer Night is going to be on the 21st of April at 7 p.m. We've got 2 or 3 things working for what's going to happen that evening. So stay tuned to as Tyler gets that worked out, and we'll be posting. But I think it's going to, if any one of these works out, it's going to be interesting and worth your time. I also want you to put on your calendar the 26th of June, Saturday, the 26th of June. That is Field Day. And we will definitely be doing Field Day this year. We'll be getting a committee appointed to work it out where and how it's going to happen. But it will happen on Saturday, the 26th of June. And so if you can avoid scheduling your vacation for that day, that would be delightful, so that we can have a nice, fun ham radio activity on the 26th of June. Okay. All right. The last thing that I wanted to talk about this evening, before we get to any kind of general business, the West Desert Amateur Radio Club, as many of you know, is a nonprofit corporation. We are a 501c3 organization, and we'd like to start taking advantage of some of that. What that nonprofit status gives us. As some of you know, every year, Clint Thompson over at Blue Peak High School, or the Community Learning Center, whichever name you know it by, has a number of students that take the technician class exam and get their licenses. We would like to be in a position so that when next year, when we give the test to those kids, that young people, they're not kids, the test to those young folks, that when they pass and get their technician class license, we want to gift them a radio. And I'm talking about a reasonably good radio, not necessarily a Baofeng. The biggest single impediment for people to actually make use of their amateur radio license is if you don't get on the air and don't start using it, it soon loses all value. And now 2 years ago, I was able to come into possession of about 8 really cheap Baofeng radios. They didn't make very many of them. It was called the BF888. It didn't have a front panel. I mean, literally, I think it was 6 channels that you could program and switch between them, and that was about it. But anyway, I'd been able to get a few of those, and we gave each of the kids that year that passed their exam, we gave them a radio. Not too long ago, I ran into one of those young fellows who told me that he still uses the radio. He's away at college, but he still uses that radio, and I'm, I was impressed. So because we are a 501c3 organization, if you or anyone else were to make a donation, we would be in a position to be able to give you a receipt for that donation, which would then you would be able to use as a charitable donation on your tax return. And so we're starting this. So Mert's putting together a specific account that will be putting the philanthropic contributions into, and one of the main things we want to use it for is for radios for new young ham radio operators. The other side of it is that we can apply for other grants, but almost all of them require some kind of matching. That might, in some cases, it's a dollar for dollar match. For each dollar we have, they'll match it $1. In many cases, it's a 5-to-1 match. That is, for every dollar that we can match, they will grant us $5. And that's that we feel like the application for grants is the best way to multiply the amount of money that we might have available to be able to use in some of these philanthropic ventures, not adventures. So we'll be reminding you from time to time, but if you have a few extra dollars and want to be able to make that contribution, we will be delighted to take it and receipt it. You can make the contribution by way of Venmo, by cash, by check, by credit card. I guess there isn't about any other way, but at least in those ways you can make that contribution. All right. Well, that covers everything that we had on our agenda for us to do this evening. Or, from any of the members, or any of you that have anything you'd like to bring up or talk about, feel free to unmute and speak up now.
I'd like to find out how I go about joining up in the club. We just moved in this last week. I was contacted by Doug Redmond earlier today, and he was the one that invited me to drop in on your session here. So that's where it stands.
Okay, good enough. So if you wouldn't mind sending to Mert, our treasurer, your contact information, she will respond with what you need.
Or he can just tell it to me now, Roland, and I'll send it to him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm up to date on QRZ and with the FCC, so all of that information is available online.
Got it.
So what was your call sign again?
Alpha Delta 7 Tango Victor.
Alpha Delta 7 Tango Victor. Okay.
Got it.
Hey, Mert,
Yes.
this is Dan. Have you got one of them? You can email me so I can get.
Yes. I'll get one to you too, Dan. And I'll email that tonight.
Awesome.
Another question from Mert while we're at it.
Fire away.
How much is the Arrl membership?
So the ARL is I did it last year We looked it up and I can't remember. I'll have to look it up again.
It's $49.
$49? Yeah, $49. There you go. Roland knows that.
And
How
I think
can
I
we
read,
pay it?
and I think I read somewhere that if we do it through the club gets some of that money.
That's absolutely right.
So, Mert, can you send me the information for that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yep, gotcha.
This is Rob Andrews. I'd like some information too, Mert. I want to get paid so I can renew my membership.
Okay. So Rob, Casey, okay.
Hey guys, is it true that Arrl will help renew your license?
That was a little bit faint. Could you speak just a little bit closer to the microphone?
My license is coming up on expiring. Was there a thing where Arrl like helps you renew your license?
You do not need to have a license to be a member of the ARRL. Of course, we would like very much for you to be a licensed member. So did that answer your question?
I am already licensed. I was just
Okay.
wondering about renewal. I heard that they can help out on renewing your license.
Oh, absolutely. If you're a member of the ARRL, well, right now renewals are free. You know, there's no cost with them. That is not going to last very much longer. But the ARRL, if you're a member, automatically renews your license for you. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to play out in the future when the $35 charge takes effect, which will probably happen in the next month or so.
Guess I got to renew now.
You can actually go just to the FCC site and renew. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yes,
Okay.
you can.
I just renewed last month, and the ARRL not only renewed me, but they also sent it up to the FCC. So that was an all-in-one. I'm making a qualified statement. I'm not sure that they immediately update QRZ.com though.
Yeah, sometimes QRZ takes a week before it gets caught up with what's going on in the ULS. And recently, that's been more the case than not. They've been the FCC's been doing some maintenance on their systems, and some of it has not been going well.
So, with the $35 coming here in the near future, you're saying that if I want to get my extra, which I still do, I should do it soon rather than later.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. They published in the Federal Register the rates, and they're waiting on some congressional action, which will put the rates into effect 30 days after the congressional action. And my understanding is that the congressional action is in committee now and will be voted out of committee fairly soon to going to the full House, and then it's got to go through the Senate. But but I'm thinking that you've got a month at least, and maybe a month and a half to 2 months before the feast takes effect. Any other questions or discussion?
I do have one thing. If you Venmo money, just make sure you put why you're Venmoing it. So I'm aware of that. If it's for the donation for the radios for the students at Blue Peak, or if it's for whatever you're doing that for, if you could just put that in a note, I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, and by the way, dues are not charitable donations, and so you don't get to deduct your dues. But anything else that you that you donate that has no strings attached to it, or remuneration or anything else that comes back from it, would be considered a charitable contribution.
How much are the dues?
Go ahead.
Oh, how much are the dues?
$10. Okay. How old are you?
I'm over the hill. I'm 81.
Okay, it's $5.
There are some benefits.
Yeah. So membership dues are $10 for 60 and younger, and $5 for 60 and older.
And can this time be, are you open to flea market questions?
I'm open to anything at the moment.
I'm looking for, I've just ordered a gray line flagpole antenna since we're in an HOA situation, and remote tuners are almost impossible to get now. And I'm looking for a 600-watt remote tuner. If anybody has one, I'm willing to pay a fair price for it.
Okay, so you need a 100-watt what?
600-watt remote tuner.
Okay, so you need a remote antenna tuner that will handle 600 watts. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. If you're on Facebook, there's a group called the Utah Amateur Radio Garage Sale, and people do post their stuff they have for sale as well as stuff they're wanting to obtain. And so, in addition to letting us know here, I'd recommend you put that information there as well.
Thank
you. Okay. Anyone else?
Roland, it's Roger.
Say what? Say again?
It's Roger.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just wanted to alert everybody to the fact that we changed our daily net to 2 p.m. instead of 1 p.m.
Yeah. So the daily net is at 2 p.m. and the weekly net is on Thursday night at 8 p.m.
That's right.
Okay. Anything else? Then I'll take a motion to adjourn. Okay, Rick Graham has motioned that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay, and that was
Rob Andrews.
That was Rob. Seconded it. Is there anyone opposed to adjourning the meeting? Usually we don't have anybody be opposed to that. But thank you all very much. The video from tonight's meeting will be posted on the website and on the Facebook page sometime by Friday. This is K7OJL, wishing you all 73, and we are clear.
Like your mic, Roland.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, Roland, one quick question.
Yes.
For the FLDG, what's the different frequencies for single band or 2 meters or 77 or 70 centimeters?
Okay, who is this asking the question?
This is Rex. This is Rex.
Okay, so so when we're talking FM simplex, or
yeah,
repeaters?
He was giving me a 146.2425 at one time.
Yes. Now the simplex frequencies that we generally use are based on a location, and I'd be happy to send you that list, Rick.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that.
I'll do that. All right. So that was going once, going twice.
Roland, this
Yes?
is Jane. I'm late getting on. Gene
what?
May.
Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
I just saying I was late getting online.
Okay. Well, we definitely like having you in the meeting.
I was going to plan on it and everything and got tied up on something else and looked up. Oh, crap.
All right, but I hope you're enjoying that new computer.
Oh, it's no ways about it.
Okay.
I sure am. And still trying to figure out how to do stuff.
All right. So that's going twice. 3 times? Is that the charm? Thank you all. Good evening.